70 years ago, North Korean troops crossed the 38th parallel that divided the Korean peninsula in a surprise attack on the fledgling country of South Korea. Supported by the USSR and China, North Korean troops made rapid gains, sending both South Korean and US forces in a hasty retreat. Just a few days after the attack, the Turkish parliament passed a resolution that confirmed it would join a UN coalition to push back the North's invasion. The move marked the first overseas military operation for the new Turkish Republic and its eventual emergence as a military power. President Erdogan marked the 7-decade anniversary of the Korean War, saying it helped forge a special bond between Ankara and Seoul. President Erdogan marked the 7-decade anniversary of the Korean War, saying it helped forge a special bond between Ankara and Seoul.
Our immortal friendship, which gets its inspiration from the solidarity of our soldiers in the Korean War, is getting stronger every day, and this makes us very happy. In 2012, we decided to elevate our relations with Korea to a strategic partnership level, and we are determined to go even further and have better relations.
Turkey was one of the first countries after the US to respond to the UN's call to push back the North. The first Turkish brigade arrived in the South Korean city of Busan in October of 1950, eventually fighting alongside the US. Over the course of the 3-year war, more than 21,100 Turkish troops would serve. More than 900 Turkish troops would lose their lives on the battlefield. Turkey's aid to South Korea helped forge a lasting partnership between the two countries. Its participation also hastened Turkey's membership into NATO in 1952 and its strong military alliance with the US and its Western allies. And joining me now from Stuttgart, Se-Woong Koo is co-founder and publisher of Korea Expose, an online magazine specializing in Korean politics. And joining me from Antalya, Mesut Uyar, who is a professor at Antalya Bilim University, specializing in Turkish military history. So, gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you here. 70 years on, Turkey and South Korea defined their relationship as a friendship forged with blood. Se-Woong, could you talk about how Turkey's participation in this war helped the two countries build on cooperation on many fields?
Well, even after 70 years, certainly Turkey's dispatchment of soldiers to South Korea during this war is remembered very fondly. But I must emphasize mainly by people of the older generation who actually lived through that experience. Even though the expression the brother country is often used to describe Turkey in South Korean media, for many younger people who have not really lived through this, it starts to ring a little hollow, which certainly suggests that there is room for improvement if the two countries are to get closer. Mm-hmm. It did help that in 2002, the World Cup, which was hosted here in South Korea and also in Japan, so South Korea and Turkey advancing to the semifinals. And certainly Turkey won over South Korea in that incident. But that shared experience perhaps is what really resonates with the current generation. Mm-hmm. But let's not forget that even that incident is something like 18 years ago.
Okay. So Mesut, having emerged victorious from the War of Independence, which was fought against an international alliance at various fronts, tell us about the mood back then in Turkey. How was it met when the parliament approved the deployment of Turkish soldiers to a far, far away country?
First of all, the government, the Mendes government, did not ask parliament approval. When the war started, North Koreans attacked South Korea on 25th June. The Turkish government immediately made a secret meeting and discussed about possibility of sending soldiers to Korea. And at that moment, the United Nations did not ask for military help, but Turkey preemptively thought that this conflict would be a big one, so Turkey might be invited to take part, and the Turkish leadership, political leadership at that time, decided to make use this chance without consulting the parliament. At that time, in Turkey, there was a great fear of Soviet Union and communist threat, so the North Korean attack seen as a global offensive of the communism. So there was a very positive mood in Turkey. The opposition party, People's Republican Party, İsmet İnönü, also very supportive of these sending soldiers. But because the government did not ask parliament to give approval for sending soldiers, this caused some political crisis inside Turkey. But other than that, it was accepted very warmly in Turkey. Most soldiers, officers, even civilians volunteered to go to Korea. So it would be turn out to be a very hard task to select the best possible officers, soldiers to be sent to Korea. Mm-hmm. And there was a big mood within the community, newspapers, radio programs, even books published about this event before even the Turkish units able to set foot on Korea.
Yes. So, Se-Woong, you just mentioned that this legacy hasn't been passed on younger generations, but currently, tell us how Turkey and the Turkish people are perceived in South Korea.
We need to be clear that South Korea's main strategic focus has always been on the Asia-Pacific region. Of course, there's U.S. as the main military ally and one of the most important trading partners, not to mention China, to which South Korea does export the largest amount of goods and services. South Korea plays a significant role in shaping geopolitics in Southeast Asia as well. When it comes to Europe or Middle East, it is an area that the government has not really taken much energy to address, although there was a recent phone call between President Erdogan of Turkey and President Moon Jae-in of South Korea that the two countries should perhaps try and strive to improve the current situation. And Mr. Moon was clear in asking for help in addressing the ongoing standoff with North Korea.
So we know that in 2012, Turkey and South Korea upgraded its relations to a strategic partnership. So you basically say that does not live up to the potential?
Yes. Let's look at some numbers, for example. Turkey certainly is an important trading partner for South Korea, and it is the 18th biggest trading partner for South Korea. But when you actually look at the amount of exports from South Korea to Turkey, it's estimated at anywhere between 6 to 7 billion US dollars. Mm-hmm. Compare that to the amount of Korean exports to China, which comes around 160 billion US dollars. So on one hand, Turkey does occupy an important place, but at the same time, relative to the other strategic partners that South Korea has been cultivating, it certainly has quite a way to go.
All right. So, Mesut, how did the war help Turkey joining the NATO and becoming a strong military power?
Well, the Korean War and the combat efficiency of the Turkish units there made a positive input to Turkish application to NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, because starting with the end of the Second World War, Turkey tried its best to get into a strong alliance as a kind of a security umbrella against the Soviet threats to Turkish territorial integrity and Soviet demands related with the Straits. So America, Britain, and especially West European countries were not eager to take Turkey in NATO, believing that accepting Turkey and Greece to NATO would certainly extend the responsibility and area of operation of NATO. But during the Korean War, the Turkish soldiers fought valiantly, and Turkish political leaders always show the efficiency of the soldiers, saying that Turkey had the potential to contribute to mutual security of Europe. And in the end, as all of we know, Turkey accepted into NATO, and our soldiers that fought in Korea accelerated this process. Of course, we cannot say that by itself Korean was instrumental in Turkey's entrance to NATO, but it certainly accelerate the situation like a catalyzer, a chemical catalyzer.
All right. So Wong, there's been recent tensions between the North and the South again. 70 years on, where do you think these hostilities would lead to?
The South Korean government is in a very difficult position at the moment. What seemed like a very good progress demonstrated in the course of détente or rapprochement with North Korea certainly has been derailed in the last few months. We have seen more belligerent rhetoric coming out of Pyongyang. And we have also seen the government trying to defend its policy reconciliation toward North Korea. And the President Moon Jae-in, in fact, announced that he wants to pursue some kind of economic, inter-Korean economic project in order to move the process forward. But it certainly looks to be difficult under the current political situation, not to mention what appears to be lack of interest in the U.S. in joining this initiative.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk.